It's Rob!
Tony! And I'm Jeff.
We're in gaming.
And that's you.
Hello gamers and welcome back to the Inn. I'm Rob, of course, or Warshack if you want to call me by my in-game name. And today we're going to be playing some, token Druid. Again, we are following the same sort of template we did in our last deck guide, which I believe would be mid-range Shaman if we have these in order. Again, normally when we do our deck guides, we play 3 or 4 ranked games in a row. We talk about why I do what I do. I explain my plays, the move, the way the deck works, and at the very end of the video, we talk about the individual cards within a deck, how they synergize well together, and maybe some combos we might have missed out on. In this case, we do not have that sort of time due to the fact that, like we had mentioned before in our mid-range Shaman video, we are very crunched on time, so we're just going to play roughly 45 minutes with the deck. I'll kind of talk about the deck a little bit, continuously talk about, of course, why I do, or what I do, why I do what I do, but we're not going to be able to get those 3 or 4 wins in a row. If we do, that's fine, but I mean, it's not going to be, we'll probably throw in some losses and whatnot. This is just a streamlined play. Double Innervate into the Azure Drake off the start. Are we YOLO Swag Juice? Or are we not YOLO Swag Juice? I don't know. Against a Shaman, we know he's going to have a pretty quick start. Like, I honestly like the Double Innervate, as dumb as it looks. We're just going to keep it and hope that we get, like, an Auctioneer or Oh boy. And by Token Druid, it's actually like a Miracle Druid slash, Yogg Druid. It's pretty fun. It works very, very similar to the Token Druid, like I mentioned before, but it has Yogg for the later game. And it looks like he's going to be playing a very fast version of the Shaman. We actually could Innervate Emperor. That's rough, right? Should we do that? Or do we just Wild Growth next turn's turn 4 for us, and then we can just Innervate once and then play Tharzan, or we just Innervate Tharzan now. The Wild Growth costs 1, the Yogg costs this, and then he has a hard time dealing with the Emperor. But if we play the Wild Growth, I think we can just double Innervate, right? Why not? Emperor turn 2. How you doing? So ideally he could, I don't know what he could do to kill. Like he can't Lava Burst. I was gonna say he could Crackle, but that doesn't exist anymore. Lava Burst costs 3 mana, so Emperor is living at least 2 turns in this situation. It also stops him from playing any sort of Totem Golem if he has that. It doesn't stop him, but we're actually able to kill the Totem Golem, and then we'll use our passive to go and kill the, or knock off the shield of the Argent Squire. So it's actually pretty good. So I guess we're just gonna Wild Growth. We're gonna smash into this. We're gonna use our passive to swing into that guy, take off that Divine Shield, and we'll end our turn there. So he's only gonna have 2 mana to kind of deal with our Fandrel's actually 3 mana now. Yogg is 8. We've casted 3 spells for Yogg. We're doing alright. Card advantage is not exactly in our favor, but that's alright. As long as we can draw into like a Wrath or any sort of card with a dual ability, this guy's going to get a lot of value. Ideally, having a Nourish in our hand might be cool. I've ran this deck a little bit when I was grinding up into the ranks, but I haven't played it yet at Legend to see like how very competitive it is, so we'll see. So he's going to Rock Biter Weapon down the Tharzan. We already knew this card was going to die. 2 turns of Tharzan is good enough for me. And then he's going to coin out probably not a Totemic Call. If he does, it shows, whoa, that's a really weak play. So hopefully it's not a Taunt Totem. Healing Totem is fine because we can actually just use our Hero Power to kill off this 1/1. Ooh, Power of the Wild. This actually makes me want to Power of the Wild and not kill this 1/1. But then he can actually Flame Tongue Totem, and that doesn't feel too great. This is a hard move. So it's either Fandrel, Power of the Wild, and it's going to make these guys quite big, but we don't deal with this 1/1. But I think that's okay, right? Unless he has or the Flame Tongue. Then this turns into 3, this turns into 2. He still couldn't kill that. So we're just going to do this. It's a pretty powerful play. We'll see if not killing that 1/1 punishes us in the long run. Like, we could have used our passive and summoned the 3/2 Panther, or we could have Fandral and then passive to kill the 1/1 Squire, and then hoped that we drew into another creature, and then okay, so the lava burst and killing the 1/1. So ideally, should have killed the 1/1 here, but he used his whole turn to get rid of a card. Yeah, because now we have this. We're gonna go for a spell for sure. Even though creatures look good, spells are most of the time always better. Power of the Wild or a swipe. I actually like swipe, to be completely honest. Power of the Wild's not bad. Summons a creature. But swipe lets us deal with shit. We already run 2 swipes. I think we go with Power of the Wild. Let's put some cards on the board. We also have Savage Roar. And Yogg is gonna play next turn, not next turn, but the following turn. So hopefully he doesn't wreck us. And the fact that he's running Lava Burst tells me he's running the more aggressive Shaman deck. So the fact that, you know, holding on as swipe is, if we were playing against maybe a zoo, swipe would be a little bit better because of Google Ad Octopops, the summon the 1/1 tentacles. But against Shaman, he's not going to be playing a whole lot of cards with 1 HP. I mean, obviously he's going to be playing Totem Golems and things like that, but we already killed one. So we haven't seen any of the 7/7s that he has summoned. But if he summons that, we're in a bit of a pickle anyway. We kind of play Yogg for that point. Just hopefully Yogg does this well. Again, this is not a super highly competitive do really, really well deck. This is more of a have fun, it's token druid. And yeah, so unfortunately, I guess, oh man, this kind of sucks. So it's either passive, kill this, swing for 2, save Auctioneer, or do we just play Auctioneer, swing this into here that has 1 HP, but we get the Auctioneer out. But we know we're playing Yogg next turn most likely, so I do not think playing the Auctioneer is going to be doing a whole lot right now. Because if we play Yogg, the more creatures we have, the less effective Yogg is, because Yogg casts spells that do shit, and those spells normally deal damage, and if we have more creatures than him, it's more of a chance that our creatures are going to die and not his. Yogg does what he wants. Also, if we, yeah, I don't know. Maybe making the trade and having this at 1 HP was value, but we're going to play Yogg next turn. And then Yogg has a chance to draw spells, and drawing spells gives us cards in our hand. Cards in our hand is more cards because Auctioneer allows us to draw more. So it's a very kind of definitely this deck has a lot of like routes you can take depending on how you feel like playing out that game. Like the beginning of that game, there was quite a few things we could have done. We could have Wild Growth, patiently waited for the Tharzan, built up our hand, and got a lot of cards with it. We could ramp it out really quickly, making us make value trades at the beginning, slowing down the aggro Shaman, making him waste Lava Burst on it. Or not Lava Burst, but a Rock Biter on it. There's just a lot of things we can do here. So he's going to Lava Burst that card down, which shows me maybe we should have played the Auctioneer. If we would have played the Auctioneer would have been Lava Bursted, but then our Panther wouldn't have died. So we're going to Yogg, and hopefully Yogg does well. Divine Spirit, don't give it to the Tunnel Trog. Alright. Power Shot, that's what Power Shot my own Yogg. Hell yeah. Kill Command, not my own Yogg. Yeah. Deal damage to that turret. Infest, alright. Lightning Bolt. Tunnel Trog. Yogg killed himself! Yogg, why? Why you kill yourself, man? Always killing yourself. Makes me so sad. There's 3 damaging abilities. Well, 4 of them, but one of them only did 1 damage. And you kill yourself, mate. You kill yourself every fucking time, mate. It makes me so sad, Yogg. So we're definitely in a bit of a pickle here. If Yogg would have lived, then he would have had to trade his Tunnel Trog into Yogg to kill it, and or we could have traded into his 7/7. But the fact that Yogg kills himself just is not the best thing that can happen. So this isn't looking good. This is the point in the game where we needed Yogg to cast like Doom or something like that. But yeah, we did what we could with what we got. I suppose we'll go Auctioneer into, well, this is 5/5, and then it won't actually. So we're going to actually give creatures +1/+1. We'll draw a card. Savage Roar doesn't necessarily help us a whole lot here. We know this is making that trade. We know this is making that trade. And then he has 14, 16. We have 17. So if he has 1 damage, we lose. But that's okay. And he has Doom Hammer. Okie dokie. Alright. When a 1-drop creature can go to 9 attack, I think we have a balancing issue. Just a small little balancing issue there. So if we lose, all right, if we lose 2 in a row, I won't show you this, guys. That's bad. But I promise you, this deck does perform fairly well as long as your opening hand is decent, which it was last game. But that Yogg, man, like even if Yogg wouldn't have, like he doesn't even have to give us a ton of value as long as he just doesn't kill himself. Because playing an 8-drop creature that didn't do anything for us, it actually hurt us more than it damaged us, is bad. Hey, look, we're playing against Chalky. That guy, I don't know if you know this or not, but he won the he won one of the tournaments. I think it was the spring preliminary or something like that. So he's definitely a really good player. If you guys didn't know, you know, we'll keep 1 Wrath, just because if he's playing Pirate Warrior. Not that I think he is, but he could be. Again, this is probably not the best hand in the world. Yogg in the opening hand isn't really good. We kind of want him as our, like, oh shit kind of card. Coining out the 3/2 does not feel that great. So we're actually going to save, and we're just going to go for the early Tharzan again. We could have the turn 3 Tharzan if we choose. He's probably playing Control Warrior, because that's what he was playing with, I believe, in the last tournament. We could go ahead and summon a 3/2 Panther. I don't really see a problem with that. And then we'll play Tharzan next turn. If he has the War Axe, he'll probably use it now. Man, he actually... I wish we were playing like a real deck so we could put on our tryhard boots and actually like do well against this guy. But we don't really have that option. Because this isn't a tryhard deck. This is a casual deck. So, or not casual deck, but you know what I mean. It's more of a fun deck than a super, super serious deck.
What to do?
So I see like a Wrath coin passive, keep our 3/2 on the board. And then we'll save Innervate for next turn, so we can actually Innervate Tharzan out next turn. And then the following turn, the Panther will cost 1, this will cost 9, Wild Growth will cost 1. I just wanted to keep the Panther alive, keep at least some cards on the field. Him playing the Berserker needed to be dealt with. Using the coin to use our passive, not the best kind of play, but we're gonna, oh man, double Frothing Berserker. That's no good. So, Fandral actually helps us out a lot right here, because we could go Fandral, Innervate, Power of the Wild, and then it'll actually pump this up to a 4/3. So I think that's actually a pretty solid play. And then we'll be able to kill off his Berserker. And the deck he's playing, I do not believe runs the Brawl. So let me just note, if we beat Chalky with this deck... Did you... We just beat a guy who won a $25,000 tournament for Hearthstone. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Let's see if he's streaming. I don't think he's streaming. But if he is, I want to see if he talks. We'll put him over the screen and he'll like be like, the fucking Warshack with his stupid fucking Druid decks, mate. I don't actually know if he talks like that. No, he's not streaming right now. I haven't seen Chalky stream ever, but I can tell you he's pretty salty. Oh my god, why are we playing against people like top 500 legend? We're just trying to have fun, man, with this Druid deck. We're just trying to have fun. Do we keep, because we have Innervate and then Wild Growth, so do we keep the Nourish? But the problem is he's most likely playing Zoo. If he's playing Zoo, this is not the hand we want. We keep Innervate, we probably get rid of Wild Growth, we probably get rid of, oh man, I don't know. We could ramp really hard, but how important is ramping? How important is ramping? Because we're Wild Growthing turn 2, then we have 4, and then we have Coin. So this doesn't need to be innervated. So I think this is fine. Oh fuck, what am I doing? I shouldn't have got rid of it. Oh, we got it back. We got the same fucking cards back! It didn't matter, guys, it never matters. This, what the fuck, man? That's some crazy sauce. So if we coin Wild Growth, we're at 3, and then we'd Innervate Nourish. How does it sound? And then we draw with Nourish, right? There's no way we don't draw with Nourish. Yeah, we're gonna coin Wild Growth here. Our hand is, if he's, we'll know if he's playing a zoo in a second here. Alright, we could just go balls deep and go for the 2 mana crystals. Alright, so he is playing zoo. So it's 3 cards or 2 mana crystals. What are we feeling? So if we get the 2 mana crystals, we can passive to attack that, or summon a 3/2. But then we have no more card draw, and we're basically just living off the top of our deck. But we do ramp really heavily, and we're able to play a lot of cards quickly. We already have a swipe. So I think I might go for the mana crystals, right? We know we're going to Nourish. But the question is, when we Nourish, what do we do? 3 cards, which puts us at 6 cards, or 2 mana crystals, which would put us at turn 5 next turn. We'll go with the 2 mana crystals. We're going to use our passive to attack the Crazed Alchemist, because next turn we'll be able to power the wild and then kill this, and then we can actually summon the 3/2 Panther. Or, if he decides he wants to play some cards, we can swipe, and then it'll actually kill the Crazed Alchemist. Okay, so we actually can swipe this and then passive to kill it. Or, no, that looks pretty good. Okay, so we just need to draw into Auctioneer. Well, Auctioneer costs 6 and we have 7. So Auctioneer, we don't have a 1-drop spell. So Violet Teacher would be good. That's pretty powerful. This is going to be rough. Living Roots is a card. Oh man, this is rough. So we actually could kill the Councilman, but then we're we're pretty stuck. But this is a card that needs to die ASAP. This is not a card we want to live. So I think we don't really have a choice here. We have to kill it. As bad as this looks, it needs to happen. And then we can just summon the 3/2 Panther, which contests the Void Walker, and then we'll just use our hero power. Yeah, maybe going for the cards was more important. Now we know next time. But we still have like the Auctioneer and things like that. So maybe we should add even more card draw. The Abusive makes him trade. I see a spell. Soulfire to discard a card to kill our 3/2. To loses a defender. That's really good for us. That's huge. That's huge, huge, huge. Living Roots, not exactly what we were going for. So if we summon Living Roots and we use our passive to kill this, he swings into this. Living Roots gives us 2 cards. So if he doesn't kill him, that's pretty good. So I guess we're just going to summon the Saplings and then hit into the Walker. So if he decides he wants to make the trade with one of these Grootlings, it's at least going to kill the Abusive Sergeant next turn. Right now, we could have dealt the 2 damage to this, but it actually puts 1 more damage on the Void Walker in the long run. But if he ignores it, then we have Savage Roar, which is good too. But I think we're going to lose out in the long haul on this deck with the fact that his hero power is that he can just sack 2 health to draw a card. It's going to be rough. So probably just go, oh man, another Void Walker. Okay, all right, I see your shenanigans here. Wow, he actually made the trade. Alright, so the Keeper's fine. We actually get a 3/3. We'll get a 2/2 Slime. We'll use our passive. We'll kill this other Walker. Not looking too bad, but again, this game doesn't have, or this deck doesn't have a whole lot of late game. No wars, and it's not a ramp Druid. So maybe drawing a cards again was more important. I have to keep that in mind. I play this deck very rampy just because if we're able to like rip out the Yogg early on, or maybe draw into Fangdrill and then get like a couple like a Raven Idol or something off, it's really good. But I think the cards was, I think the mistake was the cards. We need to go for the cards. Always the cards. 3 cards is a lot of cards. Power Overwhelming to kill the 3/3. This guy's playing the value game, unless he's going face. Okay, so value game with this guy. Drawing Swipe would be great, but we used it, so there's only 1 more in the deck, so have to watch out for that. But his field is looking pretty solid right now. But again, a Swipe, we would hero power, attack into the Imp Gang Boss, it would summon an Imp, we'd swipe it, summon nothing else. This is not looking too great. We'll just hit one of these imps here. And summoning the Power of the Wild, not what we want to do, due to the fact that we would just die to 2/1/1s. We kind of want to save it for Auctioneer, or something of the sorts. Defender of Argus is a really good card you could play right now. It would make everything out of range of, not everything, but quite a few cards out of range of swipe. And some say, oh, you used your swipe too early, but leaving the Councilman on the field, especially that early on, is just not good. So Power Overwhelming to deal more damage, and the Doom Guard, that makes sense. Normally you don't Power Overwhelming unless you're making trades or winning the game, but it looks like he's going to win the game. Not this turn, but next turn. We didn't have the answers. Should have drew, boys. Now we know. Hey, look. There's second Nourish. We needed you a little bit ago, mate. Let's draw and see what we get. Maybe Swipe. Yeah, Swipe could maybe make us live one more turn, or give us the ability to live one more turn. Okay. So if we... I don't know, because if we Swipe, it makes another 1. Swiping this... Well, swiping this kills this, and then he still has 8 damage, and we're at 10. Swiping... I wish we had one more health, because then we could actually swipe the Doom Guard and then deal Wrath it. But we can't. If we swipe this, this stays alive, and then he still has damage, but this dies. So I think we swipe this. And then he has 8 damage. So he just needs... Okay. When you top deck the other Doom Guard. Couldn't live for just one more turn, mate. Then we would have been able to Azure Drake, Wrath this, maybe pull out some shenanigans, but... Not a big deal there. I'm going to make sure there's the double Nourish, because I had made a couple changes to this deck. We haven't even drawn into any teachers, and I know there's teachers in this deck. I actually know there's 2 teachers in this deck, yeah. So, where are all our spells? And we still 2 Raven Idols, too. We haven't drawn any of this in our opening hand. Alright, yeah, we've been unfortunate with our draws. Okay. I was just making sure we weren't going crazy. Alright, because I'm like, I know where are our 4-drops and our Azure Drakes and our Living Roots and our, all of our early game besides double Innervate, Nourish to not draw cards because I'm a silly, silly goose. But that start against Chalky, he must have been so mad, guys. I'm going to highlight that game. That's going to be a Warshack versus Pros. And for those of you, it's not the real Chalky. What other person named Chalky is going to be top 500 Legend NA? I'm pretty sure there's only going to be one Chalky. And he had the card back that even revealed that he was, how you say him, a tournament contender, because he had the special card back that you get for competing in tournaments. So Yogg's going back. Do we keep the Keeper, or do we keep the Teacher? We're playing against a Druid. So he's probably playing Cthulhu Druid, or he's playing Ramp Druid. And if he's playing Cthulhu and or Ramp Druid, Wrath is not that great. Teacher's always good. Mire Keeper's always good. So we actually keep 2 4-drops. That feels so bad. We're actually just keep the Teacher, because we haven't seen the Teacher at all. I mean, if we would have kept the Teacher, maybe we could have kept the Wrath. We got back the Keeper anyway. We'll see what he's playing. He could be playing aggro. It's all when you hit Legend, the meta shifts a lot. When we play our road to Legends and we play against people, I'm just like, oh, they're playing this? Okay, so it's between 1 or 2 decks, and then they play a couple cards, and I can determine what deck they're playing. In Legend, people are either playing, like, their own renditions of really good decks, like, refined down to their personal playstyle, which is why they're Legend players, and they're, I can't really tell you verbatim what's in their deck, or they're just playing outrageous fucking decks because they don't care. And I can't tell in that case either. So we can't do anything here. So yeah, keep that in mind, guys. So I think we could Innervate out. No, because Innervating Coin to summon a Teacher, and then she doesn't do shit. But we could Innervate Mire Keeper, go for the Mana Crystal, and then Teacher, but then we save Coin. How do we feel? I feel like Mire Keeper in this deck is not that great. It's worked out well, but it's not the best card. We'll see what happens. Like, I feel like there's better contenders instead of the Keeper. Like, in Ramp, it's really good, but I tried to, like, simulate this deck to give it Ramp tendencies, but also the ability to have that token aspect to it. Staghelm's of course really good, but we have no combo with him yet. So innervating out the Mire, it really doesn't look that bad. Get cards on the board, or it's Teacher, but then there's not really a whole lot of options through there. So I think we can just innervate out the Keeper. Then we have 3 mana next turn instead of 4. If we have 4, then we have the option to coin if we get a 1-drop. But then we lose out on the 2/2. How important is the 2/2, do you ask? I think I'm going to go with the Empty Mana Crystal. It's a free wild growth, right? So we used an innervate. We used a ramp card to make a creature and give us a little bit more ramp for future. I think that's okay. It is susceptible to like a Wrath or something, but if he's going to Wrath a 3/3, float 1 mana, not draw a card, feels pretty good to me. Another top 500 legend player. I'm fine with beating Chalky though. I'm good. We've completed today. We beat, you know. I want to know exactly what wow, Disciple of Cthulhu to deal 2, but now we're able to actually, that's a very strange play of him to make that particular move. This is what I was not worried about. Oh, actually, we could... That doesn't feel bad at all. But then it's weak to a swipe. But is it really? He'd have to innervate swipe. It's either Teacher, Coin, Living Roots this, or Fangdrel, Coin, Living Roots. I think Teacher, though, gives the same thing as Fangdrel. Yeah. So if we would have played Fangdrel, it would have summoned 2 1/1s and killed that. But Fangdrel actually has the ability to work well with other cards, not just with spells. But Teacher, it summons these 1/1s, right? Which is what Living Roots would have done anyway with Fangdrel, and we would have killed that. But Fangdrel can work with Nourish, it can work with Wrath, it can work with Raven Idol, it can work with Power, the Panther card, so their Power, or whatever it's called. So playing, it didn't matter. They both have the same stats, so Teacher was the better play here. This is a really strange play from him because we actually can just swing our 1/1 into that and deal with it pretty well. How much damage do we have here if we Savage Roar? It doesn't look like enough. We go ahead and summon some more creatures and push for the Savage Roar. How many creatures? We'll have 5, and that's 2, and that's 10. That'd be 15. That's 18. Plus this turn with creatures. I don't really like it that much. We'll just go for the Azure Drake to draw. So that's going in here. This going in there, and then we'll just go face for 4. It's a little bit slower route, but a little bit safer in my opinion. Alright, so we're gonna go Chalky, Hearthstone, and I wanna see what tournament he had won. It was first place in DreamHack Austin, 2016, prize pool of $8,000. Alright. This is where I kind of want to play the Strangle and then Raven Idol, so I think that's what we're going to do. Or we just swipe this and we go face, and then we push lethal next turn. I think that's the play. I think pushing lethal next turn with Savage Roar is pretty good. Let's make sure we have lethal. Oh yeah, that's definitely lethal. That's too much damage. We killing it, boys. But yeah, DreamHack Austin 2016, Chalky. Team Digmatast, spelled the same. It's pretty good. I think we did well today, boys. We got the Savage Roar, the Brokeback, boys. Oh my god, that Claxy Amber Weaver. That 410 coming in clutch. Just kidding. It's about to get raffle stomped. This plays like aggro druid slash ram druid slash like just, oh my god. It's disgusting, right? Bink, bink, bink. $23.98. Making our way down the legend ranks with Token Druid. I actually don't know what to call this deck. Token Druid or Miracle Token Druid or just Miracle Druid. Because it doesn't depend on Yogg, but Yogg is like its oh shit button. Yogg is essentially an oh shit button. There's nothing skill about Yogg. You play Yogg when you're gonna die. Okay. 22-29, the hardest game of my life. So we'll play one more with this deck. That was a weird. I guess he's just trying to de-rank his legend, so then when he starts playing again, his MMR is so bad that he can just play like rank 4 people, and he can just like mess them up, go on like a 5-game winning streak, and then get a whole bunch of points really quickly. I've seen a couple people do that. Daywalker. What if I don't want to play a game? Alright, so I think we keep Raven Idol. He replaced everything but one card. That one card was the card on the far right. What the fuck is this? What is this? An Azure Drake? 2 Druid of the Claws? Are you kidding me right meow? Go ahead and go first. Give me an Innervate. Or a Wild Growth. What the fuck? Alright, well, Starfire it is. I mean, we could have gone for Claw. It would have been good against like a Mana Worm.
Let's make magic.
Yeah, it would have been good against that too. So we power the Wild, summon a 3/2. He uses a spell following turn we Wrath, and then we are floating one. Well, we are essentially floating 1 mana. What do we want to do first? Do we just want to Wrath that down, or do we want to play the Power of the Wild first? I guess we just Wrath. Well, Wrath is, you know, we could deal 3, but it's only doing 2, which means if he plays Mana Worm next turn, but then we have Power of the Wild and he makes the trade anyway. So I think we just Wrath that down. Because next turn we could actually draw into like Living Roots, and then we could like coin Living. Or no, we wouldn't coin. We're gonna coin on 4 and make this guy a 6. All right, well, coining now, make this guy a 4/4 with charge. Looks a whole lot better. Oh baby, how are you doing? Go kitty, go! Meow. So now you have to waste a card to kill this, but I essentially used a card to bring him out. So, and here comes like Arcane Missiles. Hey, Lamau, I'll go face! I'll go face! Fuck. It's okay, boys and girls, it's okay. It's all the same, it's all the same. Ooh, another Innervate. That's pretty nice. We'll save the Innervate for next turn, so we'll Azure Drake, Innervate, Power the Wild if our 4/6 can live. I don't think he's going to. I feel Fireball in my near future, but okay. So essentially we should draw into any sort of damage ability. Azure Drake becomes super clutch. Raven Idol, I don't know. Captain, don't let me down, don't let me down. Draw into something good. Alright, well, we know he's gonna swing the 3/2 into the Azure Drake and ping it for 1. We can Innervate out the Raven Isle, hope to get Living Roots, spend the last Innervate coin to Living Roots that down. But if we don't, and we use Innervate to get nothing out of our Raven Idol, we are fudged. We also could Innervate the Power of the Wild. We know next turn's a Nourish kind of turn. How lucky. We're going to say we should... Oh, man. Oh, boy, oh, boy.
Time waits for no one.
We'll summon a 3/2 Phantom. I don't feel like testing my RNG with the Raven Idol right now. We'll save it for Fandrel and see what good stuff comes out of there. Azure Drake, okay. Please don't have some miracle fucking 1-drop deal 4 damage card. All right, well 2-drop deal 4 damage card. All right. Oh god. Please don't hit that twice. Fuck, man. Jesus Christ. Fandrel's sick, but it's just gonna get fucked up. We need, okay, now we can play Fandrel. We summon 2/1/1s, we kill this, we Raven Idol, we get a creature, we get a spell. We got value coming, boys. As long as we can live and he doesn't play something ridiculously fucking OP here, we are okay, in the clear, happy duty, hatty dandy. Alright, so he's got quite the field. We can draw into Innervate. I'll be okay. Auctioneer. Alright, so Fandral. We'll start with the Raven Idol. So we get a creature. You know what I'm feeling? Taunt. Taunt is good. Taunt is life. Wild Growth, probably not the card. Mark of the Wild, I guess. Now we Living Roots one of these bad boys. And now we summon 2/1/1 Groots. Nice. We can make this comeback, boys. We need to win the last game. Give me something good. Not so. Does this make it a beast? No. Are these beasts? No, they're saplings. Are you a beast? No, you're a goblin. Are you a beast? No, you're Barbacoa from Chipotle. Are you a beast? No, you're just two giant hands, probably from a beast, but you're not actually a beast. He got a Wrath? No! Now he can draw one and kill. Oh, gosh. No! What is this? What the fuck? Stop getting so much fucking value! Stop it! Stop it right now! Oh my god, do you see this shit? What the fuck just happened? We were okay, and then now we're not okay. Well, we know this is happening. Fuck. Well, this is 6 damage. We hit this. Oh my god. We can't keep this alive. It's summoning that we're taking 6-7 damage. If we hit this, we only take 2. Yeah, there's no way. We cannot keep that alive. He draws a Fireball, he wins. He draws a Frostbolt, he wins. Dude, it was at that moment when he got a Wrath for 1 card, into an Arcane Intellect for 2 cards, into the Frostbolt Arcane Missiles for the game, into the Azure Drake, into the Fireball for victory. Right? No. Still pretty damn close. That was fucking retarded, folks. That was indeed a bit too much for me to handle. Alright, so I guess we go Taunt. Right? It's our biggest card. Or we go Auctioneer. Well, this is... That leaves 3. This doesn't actually kill anything. We'll use it to draw. Well, have mercy. That was rough, guys. That was rough. So I was hoping for maybe like a swipe or something to do something, but this is looking rough. Yeah, I mean, theoretically, this does protect. Oh my goodness gracious! You have to have a Fireball or a Frostbolt somewhere in there. There's no way you didn't get. There you go. Rough game for you, bro. Oh man, we had him. We had him. It was just the. That was a how many card top deck? That was a card art. I'm not even mad about it. Trust me, I could care less. I couldn't care less because we've already hit Legend. But it was the Spellslinger, which gives you a card. To kill a card, draw a card. The card is a card that drew more cards, and those 2 cards were spells that cost reduced mana because of the sorcerer to kill the rest of our cards. So that's 4 cards in a row. That was crazy, right? That's crazy. So hopefully you got to see a little bit of the Token Druid. Let's go into the deck list here, talk a little bit about the deck, and yeah. There we are. Alright. So when I say a staple, that means the card needs to be in the deck. If you go, hey Rob, I'm looking to play, you know, Token Druid and I don't have Nourish or Violet Teacher, it's kind of like, alright, well, it's probably not the deck for you. So starting off with the Innervates, these again are staples. The whole point of Druid is to be able to play, well, there's a lot of spells, first of all, so Yogg can get some value, and your Auctioneer can draw these cards. But most of the time, the spells with Druid work really well with, again, the Violet Teacher, too. So Innervate, again, able to ramp you out really early, counts as spells, and works well with bringing out some of your larger creatures, some of your larger spells early on. The Living Roots is basically your early game. Synergizes well with the Teacher, synergizes well with Fandral, synergizes well with Yogg, synergizes well with the Zerdrake. There's a lot of synergies in this deck between spells and creatures and being able to get value from either having Fandral out, summoning more creatures from your spells, or getting more spells from your Yogg from your spells that you played originally. So keep in mind. Raven Idol. Again, if you normally, if like, let's say this is your opening hand, you can keep it, use it to get a spell, maybe get like a Wild Growth and Innervate, another Nourish, a Swipe, get some good stuff out of it. But if you, let's say, draw it later in the game and you have Fandral in your hand and you have the option for like, you've got one floating mana left over, but you have Fandral in your hand, maybe it's best to hold on to the Raven Idol, even though you didn't use your mana, like, as efficient as you could. You didn't use all your mana that turn as efficient as you could because you held on to it, but you have Fandral in your hand. So Fandral, again, lets you choose both minion and spell, which can get you a lot more value in the future if you end up giving, like, another Raven Idol or something like that. So, like, let's say you Raven Idol and you have Fandral on the field and you get another Raven Idol, pick that Raven Idol. Unless you need a swipe at that like exact moment, then of course pick like a swipe or a wrath if you need to kill a creature. But most of the time, getting another Raven Idol is a lot of value and will win you games on its own. The Power of the Wild synergizes well again with the Teacher and the Fandral. The Teacher, you play some spells, you get 2/1/1s out there, or you Living Roots, you get 2 Grootlings out there. You Power of the Wild, Fandral's out. You get a 4/3 Panther and everything gets +1/+1. It's ridiculous. Wild Growth is your ramp. Wrath is a staple. Savage Roar. This whole deck, not this whole deck, but the fact that most of the time you're going to be having a lot of these 1/1 creatures out and or at least 3+ creatures out on the field, being able to Savage Roar and burst your opponent down like we saw earlier was pretty good. Swipe is your field clear. Unfortunately, this deck doesn't have any form of Hexed or Polymorph or things like that, so you kind of have to count on your Wrath and your Savage Roar, or your Wrath and your Swipe for your field clears. Because most of the time, this deck will win early on. Like, let's say you're playing a super late game deck. Most of the time, this deck can powerhouse to start, Violet Teacher out a bunch of cards, and then by the time you're able to Savage Roar, your opponent is just being able to maybe play one large creature. And at that point, you either have enough creatures on the field to deal with it, you're either pushing your victory, or you have the spells in your hand to be able to deal with it accordingly. Fandral, staple, not going to go over that. Mire Keeper, in my opinion, I think this guy could be a little bit better, or could fit, or be taken out from something else. I'm not exactly sure yet. I mean, theoretically, you could put another Auctioneer, but that just seems too bad because it puts the curve too high up there. I'm not really sure what you'd replace him with. Obviously, it would have to be some sort of creature that generated some sort of either ramp, card draw, and or a lot of value to summon other creatures. And I'm not precisely sure the card that do that yet. But this guy, again, can be used for, like we saw, as a free Wild Growth on turn 4, or that extra 2/2. And remember, this deck benefits from you having lower, or a bunch of creatures on the field through the Power of the Wild and the Savage Roar. So keep in mind that summoning the 2/2 Slime, really not that bad. He's not a terrible card. I just feel like he could be a little bit better. It also works well with Fandral because it's choose one. Violet Teacher summons those 1/1s every time we cast a spell. We saw why that's good. Double Nourish is essentially some more card draw because, again, a lot of these spells are really cheap. And so, like, let's say you use your Innervate, your Living Roots, your Raven Idols, and your Power of the Wild early on in the game. You've got nothing else in your opening hand, or nothing else from your opening hand. It's only like turn 4 or 5. You have the Nourish to draw you 3 cards, which is huge. If Keeper of Lore drew 2 cards still, I would probably play 2 Lores and 1 Nourish. But the fact that Lore got ripped to shreds, we're not going to play him. Azure Drake is, again, spell damage, works well with the Savage Roar, the Wrath, the Living Roots, and whatever other spell you could get out of your Raven Idol. Druid of the Claw, again, works really well with the Fandral. 5-drop, 4/6 with Taunt. A Lamau. Emperor discounts everything. Again, really, really good if you can pump them out early in the game, especially if you can hit like a Fandral and a Nourish. You can play both those for 7 mana, and that's pretty ridiculous. Gadgetson, again, just some more card draw to keep up with what you got going on in the field. I found in this deck more than anything is you run out of cards, and we don't even have Jeeves anymore because Jeeves was part of GVG, so Gadgetson Auctioneer has to make the replacement for Jeeves, along with the fact that there's a whole lot of spells in this deck, so works well. And then Yogg, unfortunately, we weren't able to play this guy to his fullest potential, and the one time we did play him, he fucked us hard. But we're just going to pretend like he helped us and we won that game because of Yogg, just because the card, he's cool, he's RNG Master Race. Again, if you're looking to make this deck a little bit more competitive and maybe rank up with it a bit, I would take, I don't know, it's hard to say because Yogg can either work, like, Yogg can pull you out of situations you thought you were essentially dead at. Like, you're at 1 HP, your opponent has a full field, you have no cards in hand, they have 10 cards in hand. All he has to do is play Tree of Life and Doom, and you're back in the game, baby. So, and this can happen. Like, that can happen, because Yogg says RNG Master Race. But, again, probably not the most competitive and consistent card. So with that said, hopefully you've enjoyed the Token Druid. Again, sorry these deck guides can't be the way I normally have them and propose them to you guys at the start with like the 3 to 4 wins in a row, so I can kind of showcase the power of these decks, but I just don't have the time. So we're just going to play the decks. If we win, we win. If we lose, we lose, and that's that. But they play the same, and I kind of show you my insights and why I do what I do, and hopefully that allows you to kind of carve your guys' way to victory when playing some of these decks. And of course, making modifications to them as you see fit, as each player does have a different kind of play style. So, as always, guys, of course, I'm Warshack, and happy whatever the hell day it is.